get into that,
you know?
that thing, like Train's father was a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really listen to Train moving around on the instrument, and, there's that preaching, there's that
call,
the call and response thing, and getting to Horace Silver too. When I got out of the Army, he invited me to his house for dinner. He cooked he said, have a steak. We're going to talk about publishing, keep your own publishing, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And he was not at the piano. He was on the dinner table, using the table as a keyboard. And he said, he was talking about words, how he arrived at something. He said, like, but he arrived at it from thinking of the old time way, do that, do that, do that, do that, dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. But he said the way he said, do that, do that, do that, Orwella, and that, do that, that. And he said something I haven't heard in a long time. Because when we were kids, we were told not to go somewhere, and some kid would say, let's go over there. And no, we're not going to go. Come on, let's go, you're scared. And then we breaking down, let's go. And then say, oh, it's my swasta. So he said, it's my swasta. It's my swasta. I figured out that's like 5 contractions. Later on, I was saying, we may as well to have been doing this or that. It's my swasta, little kids. And I'm saying, because we used to look, if you got into early jazz and everything, we looked down on lyrics. So Horace is drawing the written word poetry without actually putting it in his music, but attributing to everything. You know, I can tell that Train and Charlie Parker went to the movies a lot. You know, and this song, This Is New. That I bet it was some gangster movie, and in the back room that tune was going on, kind of filtered very, softly, and
so that's the unknownables.
Yeah.
That you were talking about too, right? Like you hear things subconscious and inside, you don't know where it's coming from, but it's there, and it affects you, and it could influence you to compose, or well, you're composing as an improviser to play some things.
The song,
where was that coming from?
Yeah, it wasn't a hit song. It was something that should have been.
Right.
And Bandwagon, I think I'll Go My Way by Myself could have been, that song. I'll Go My Way by Myself. We
you guys have been playing that. That's so beautiful. Like, I've heard it a number of times. You play it as an encore piece, and it's a real spiritual moment also. Just the way you all approach it. Beautiful.
Deep Night is another, deep. I
don't know if I know that tune.
Deep Night, written by the composer Balankenikoff or something like that. It's a composer who worked together with Hedy Lamarr when she's inventing stuff. I have her book. Have her book?
No, but I know you. Yeah.
It's all about her inventions, written by the guy who wrote a Pulitzer Prize book on the atomic bomb. He said, I finally discovered Hedy Lamarr. And Joe Lovano sent me a thing on the fax machine about Hedy Lamarr, because she's Viennese, and it said she received the something medal. It's the highest award for her inventions and stuff like that, not as an actress. And they wanted to give one to Arnold Schwarzenegger until he became governor of California. He's like, no, rescind. And they gave Joe one. And there's the Beethoven medal too. Anyways, it's the unmentionables, the glittering generalities of the media. I have to say this. This is about music. Everything I'm talking is about. I was in sociology class, and Dr. Bluestein said one thing that I keep bringing to me. He said, beware of glittering generalities and guttural utterances. So I'm listening to politicians who talk with the glitter, and the other ones who talk with, you don't know exactly what they're saying, but just like in some I'm not going to designate any church or anything like that, but when a preacher says, and the Lord said, E, on, E. It's Art Blakey was saying that. And the people would say, yeah. He said, what's he talking about? Guttural utterances and glittering generalities are two forces that drive the herd in whatever direction.
In different directions, yeah.
Yeah.
Insignificant things that like people gravitate towards.
Yeah. Oh, he sounds very educated. I think I'll go with him. The glittering, the guttural. I'm down to earth and everything like that, and you know, and I don't care if you're down to earth. You're still gonna. You know? So that and the music and the playing and everything like that, I have to put that in there. The struggle.
Right. Because you focus a different way, right?
Yeah.
When you're thinking in those terms, in the moment of some music and hearing what everybody's playing around you, you don't want to throw in things that are insignificant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you want to be in the moment and have it take some shapes that are going to be inspiring, coming from inspired places.
And the guttural, the train wrecks, everything, are for real. They're not planned. They're for real. So therefore, you discard.
You have to come off of them, right?
Yeah, you discard your musical credentials. You had to get on the stage and forget your credentials and your study and all that stuff. Go out there naked, and if you get into that train wreck, you muster what you call courage, fearlessness, and bring out the most noble thing you can bring without the help of knowing music. I'll go sharp 5 to sharp 4.
Right. Once you get into something, you have to get out of it.
Yeah, get out of there.
I was playing. There was a period. For 2 years, I was playing a lot with Ed Blackwell, and I wrote a tune called "Strength and Courage," just about that and about him and his life and his struggle. But it was in a trio setting, and it was all about getting into what we would get into. And now, now how are we going to get out of this? You know, it's like to have those things in mind as you're playing, and before you know it, like you're in a real journey of expression together. You know.
Yeah. The ultimate adventure, life itself, eternal ultimate adventure, including. Sometimes you get discouraged, like getting discouraged if you get into a place, and then after the gig in the dressing room, oh man, I can't.
Right,
people get discouraged about this, and it's connected with their progress as a career. This is going to damage my career, my credentials. It's almost like somebody died or something like that, and I said, well, death is your best friend is your pride died that night for a second. But death is temporary. Let's go for the constant. What? Is there a constant? We had a rehearsal yesterday, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at Herbie always say, Herbie, I'm going to just do it like this, or something like that. And then you keep, so I don't do, you solo, I solo.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, that's so boring.
I mean, I said, wait a minute, they're going to be sitting there. Or next, here comes the bass solo. Miles Davis. Wait a minute, the bass, you got it. So, is it? How come? He liked the bass player who could. I got the joke. You heard about the? It's not a.
What?
I saw a movie. It's a movie where a guy is painting. And Miles Davis' music is playing. He's painting, and this girl is saying, "What is that music?" She's a model. "What is that music?" He says, "Miles Davis." It's Miles Davis. And she said, "Who's Miles Davis?" He said, and I want to try and find out who made this movie. He said, "Well, let me describe him." He said, he's a guy who was auditioning bass players one time. He was auditioning bass players, and he got this one bass player who played everything. He was listening to this guy. He played the bass as if he played the violin, the cello. He played rhythm and all kinds of stuff. He could do arco and pizzicato, and he had harmony. He was doing all modern harmony, advanced harmony, all kinds of stuff. And then he finished. He said, "Okay, Mr. Davis, what do you think of my audition?" Then Miles told him. He said in the movie, he said Miles told him, "I think we should get a band together and find a bass player."
Yeah, right. You come up front with me.
And that was in the motion picture.
Oh,
I said,
wow.
who made this movie?
Yeah, right. That's
You
great.
jive. It wasn't Woody Allen.
One thing I want to touch on, Wayne, is Tony Williams' record "Spring."
Yeah.
You and Sam Rivers together on that one tune,
Oh,
and you're playing together and getting into some things and getting out of them.
Mm-hmm.
That is a beautiful moment in the documentation of some music. And Tony was really young. That was his first record as a leader, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Herbie's on it with you as well. But just the dialogue and the way you and Sam played together at that, because there's not many moments in your recorded discography where you explore some things like that with another tenor player.
Mm-hmm.
That was beautiful, man. And having a chance to play with you recently in these last few years, just sharing some moments have meant so much to me, man. You've been so beautiful and generous and inviting to share the space. I mean, that's what you're about. But that way of playing for me has always been a part of my playing, trying to play with the folks I'm playing with and share the space and create some new music together.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. So we got to do the. Hey, you too, man. You know, I'm talking. Coming from.